Okay, you guys, we are live. Let me know that we are good. Okay, let's see, make sure that we're good. Message me, y'all, if we are. Okay, so we are live, you guys. Are you so excited? It's our last week. I'm pretty impressed with how many people are here. I feel like normally on week 3 it can be a little empty, but it's probably has nothing to do with all the Kate Spades sitting on the table. So that's my favorite part, is to see who our winners are. And I had one of the directors fox me on the way here, and she's like, my points might not be amazing, but I signed 2 people yesterday and 2 today. And I'm like, that's all that matters. Like the momentum, the excitement, where you're going. The prizes are fun, y'all, but like y'all can go earn a bonus and buy your own Kate Spade, right? Like figure it out. So that's why I love this business and Pacesetters, because it creates so much excitement. So okay, so I don't love the angle of this. Okay, we'll figure it out. But okay, you guys, so where did we leave off? I know we left some things out, right? Enjoying the journey behind week 2.
Positive visualization.
I know we forgot some stuff last week. Okay, go back to, we did not do enjoying the journey, right? Okay. Okay, perfect. So before we jump in, will you guys, this is bad. This is really bad. Will you guys tell me, just a couple people pop up and tell me what you loved last week from Pacesetters, or what you loved through this journey of Pacesetters? 2 people pop up, not all at once.
I'll go. I love the momentum that it creates, you know, just that little daily activities just builds on the momentum. So what you maybe didn't see in week 1, by week 3 is like fully kicking. And so it reminds you that if you just do a little bit every day, it's not so hard to get moving again.
Yes. Love that. Next.
I love that for us, it's created a new normal. You know, because it's like you kind of thought you were working, and then you get that first voucher, and you're like, "Ooh, yeah, that, yes, that's important." And then the second week, it's kind of like you're in the habit, and then the third week is really when, for me, my booking started really happening, because the week before they might have rescheduled, you know, and then you're in the mode of booking and sharing and all of that. And by week 3, you created a new normal, which is what I just told my girls this morning on box. I'm like, I know tonight's the last night, but we created a new normal, and we keep going.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And people are like, can we do Pacesetters every month? It's like, no, because that eliminates the excitement, and it eliminates like the push. So some of my directors have tried to implement vouchers after the fact, and it's fun, but it just doesn't have the same effect. So I love that you said it creates your new normal, and it does take time for it to see the movement. Like, you know, you're not going to do it overnight and get the results. If that's your mindset, you're going to be disappointed, but it takes time, and it takes just consistency in doing it. So, okay, you guys, so we're going to start out with enjoying the journey. And for those of you who were with us last time, we read Chop Wood, Carry Water. And so I love this story at the very top. I'm not even going to try to say that name, but is a boy that spent 4 to 5 years selling matches, going door to door in a small town in Sweden. He was often laughed at when he would tell the other boys he couldn't ride his bike because he had to ride his bike 3 hours. I'm sorry, he couldn't play is what that's supposed to say. He couldn't ride his bike with them because he had to ride his bike 3 hours to purchase another box of matches in Stockholm. At 17 years old, he named his company IKEA and is now worth over $150 billion. You know, and so I think there's so many of us that we get frustrated because we feel like we're missing out on the fun stuff. We're missing out on this, or my friends are having a barbecue, or this weekend I'm missing out on this, you guys. And, you know, like short term, I don't even want to call those sacrifices, because I don't really know that that's a sacrifice as much as it is as a choice, will lead you to that long-term gain, which I think is really, really, really important. So to start off, I'm going to tell you guys kind of like what I believe greatness and success is. Number one, we have listed there hard work. I believe that this is absolutely hard work. I think it can be easy to some, but it is hard work. And so what categorizes as hard work in our Mary Kay? I honestly think all of the above. I think generating the leads. I think getting out of your comfort zone, getting cute when you don't feel like it. Like, I don't know about you guys, but this cold weather makes me want to not leave the house, you know? And so, you know, doing it anyways, getting uncomfortable. Those are the things that I believe is hard work, is just making the decision and actually doing it. That is hard work. The dirty work, you know, and in the book, Chop Wood, Carry Water, he talks a lot about success is not the sexy stuff. People do not want to do the unsexy stuff. You know, they want the glamour, the glitz, you know, the fame, the fortune, but they're unwilling to do the unsexy stuff. And the unsexy stuff is, I believe in Mary Kay, the dirty stuff, the stuff that no one really wants to do. And I don't mean dirty in like bad form, but it's the hard work, right? It's like getting our hands dirty. And I believe that is lead generating, you know? I believe that is asking people on your chicken list to book a party. Like the things that you do not look forward to doing, I believe, are the dirty, you know, things. You have to get your hands dirty. Making goodie bags, you know, that's something that I don't know about you guys, but that's not like on my top 5 things favorite to do, you know, especially when you've got a bunch of them. And so different things like that in your business are the dirty hard work. You know, picking up the phone, making the booking calls, the things that you don't really want to do. But everybody wants to be a sales director. Everybody wants to be a national sales director, but they don't want to do the dirty work. Does that make sense to you guys? And so in order to get to that, you have to be willing to do the dirty work. So the inconvenient would be those calls. It would be managing your time to where you can't always be available to your family. It would be carving out the time to do what you know you need to do. It's inconvenient sometimes to come to a meeting. You know, it might be inconvenient sometimes to make those customer deliveries, those things that you have to do that are, you know, connected to the success that comes with our business. That's, you know, the inconvenient stuff. And then number 4 is what's usually done in the dark. And again, that goes really with everything that I've been saying, is that that's the stuff no one wants to do. Everybody wants to go to the red carpet. Everybody wants to go to the seminar parties. Everybody wants to pick up the diamond rings, but no one wants to sell. No one wants to book. No one wants, well, I guess we all probably want to sell, but we don't want to book, and we don't want to get the leads, and we don't want to do the hard work that's attached to that. And so that's what's usually done in the dark, the booking, the coaching, you know, as everybody is adding up their voucher points and people are like, I got this many bookings, I got this many team members. You guys, the stuff that's done in the dark is the stuff that you don't see. When someone says, I got 6 new team members, you're like, oh my gosh, tell me how you did it. What did you do? I mean, it's the stuff that's done in the dark. It's the booking calls, the generating the leads, that stuff. Like the win, everybody wants the win, but you have to be unwilling, you know, you have to be willing to do the stuff that we don't necessarily want to do. So I believe, especially on social media, it's the highlight reel. We aren't seeing the behind the scenes. You know, I remember, you know, when I debuted as a national, there's a lot of controversy when you do it quick, or people just, you know, like to say certain things. And so it was funny because as people would say, like, well, what did you do? What corners did you know, how did you do it? And it's just like, you must not follow me on social media because I live in my car, you know? And so oftentimes though, social media doesn't highlight, you know, I never took a picture of me sitting down making booking calls for hours. You know, I never probably took a picture of my mileage to show how much I drove, and or my alarm clock to see how little sleep I got when I was driving from, you know, a place to place. And so we have to remember too, when you see someone who's, you know, debuting or doing something, you guys, there's a lot of behind the scenes to that win, you know, and I think so many people are unwilling to accept that, and they think, oh, it just came easy to them or whatever. No, there's a lot of behind the scenes that comes with that. So, and I know for all of our winners, there's a lot of behind the scenes that came with, you know, their vouchers are highlighted, marked, scribbled, erased. You know, they are not clean by any means from their activity. So, and then under that, you guys have pick a legend or a shero. You know, and it can be in Mary Kay, it can be outside of Mary Kay. But I would encourage you guys to study who that person is, study their habits, their lifestyle. You know, when people say, well, what did you do to become a national? It's not what I did as much as it's how I thought, you know, and we can all do the same activity, but I think for someone who's thinking a different way, the results are going to be much more powerful. And so obviously activity is a huge thing, but I think, you know, studying the person, how they're thinking, you know, how they live their life, what they're accomplishing, what they're doing, not so much their systems, but as much as the way that they think. And so what are your top 3 favorite qualities that you love about them? And then I would encourage you to study that and to master that so you can so that you can adapt that, put it into your own way of living, and then see where those qualities then can grow in you. And then what did he or she do to become great? You know, Leah was my Mary Kay mama. And so I saw that girl work. And so what did I do? I worked, you know, and so study the person that you want to emulate and do what they're doing. And you'll probably start to get the results that they're getting, you know, monkey see, monkey do. Okay. So at the bottom, it says, what must we master to gain the position in the life that we desire? You know, I think the booking is obviously the unglamorous thing. That is the thing that nobody wants to do, you know, picking up the phone. You know, you guys, it's so funny. I say my prayer before I make my booking calls, and I think I made 10 or 11 booking calls this week, and every single one of them booked. If it wasn't for this month, it's for next month. And so, but I have a very positive mindset when it's connected to booking, and that wasn't always the case for me. But that's how I am. So booking is the unglamorous. The glamorous part is the party, right? Everybody wants to walk into a party with guests there and everybody having a good time. So that's the glamorous thing. We have to master our skincare class. And the glamorous part of that is you're going to sell. You're going to sell when you know what the heck you're talking about. You know, I always joke and say these products sell themselves. They really do, but it helps if you know what you're talking about. You know, when you're like, this is microderm, and they're like, really? Because this does not feel like microderm. You know, it's probably a good idea that you know what you're talking about. What we must master to gain the position. Marketing, we need to understand marketing. You know, I know there are a lot of consultants that are not confident in their marketing, and so they just choose not to do it. And I think that's a cop-out. I totally get it. It is a little scary, but the glamorous part of that is you're going to add team members, you know, when you master that and when you practice. And there's so many ways that you can incorporate marketing in your parties and stuff now. So the unglamorous thing would be generating leads. I hope you guys got a dose of that during PACESETTERS. It's so funny how many people are like, oh my gosh, I thought it was so scary. This is so easy, you know, and it's true. But until you do it, you don't realize how simple it really can be. So the glamorous part is that you have more leads to book. You know, you have more leads. It gives you more activity. So the unglamorous thing would be generating. The glamorous thing is now you have contacts. The unglamorous thing, I don't know why, I just do not like making goodie bags. I literally cannot stand it, which is why I really don't do it. Someone else does. The glamorous part of that is your guests leave happy, right? Like they're like, oh, look, she did something for me, you know? And part of the way I do a lot of my bookings is I tell them I have a gift bag for them. So when they walk in and I say, oh, I didn't do it, you know, they're not gonna be super thrilled. And so the unglamorous part might be making the goodie bags. The glamorous part is your customers are happy. And they trust you and they believe you. When you say you're going to do something and you don't deliver, the authenticity is out the window. So it's important. There was a one time where I totally forgot my goodie bags and I just literally was like, pick a product. Like I felt so bad, or I gave them like $10, you know, towards their order or whatever. So there's a way to fix that if you ever mess that up. Okay. And the last is memorizing scripts. That is not fun. I remember having my skincare class on flashcards and I would literally just practice as I walked around the hospital in my scrubs and I'd have them in my pocket. So like if the CEO walked away or around or something, I would stick them back in my pocket and like didn't have to worry about it. But I was always practicing. I learned the best off memorization. At nursing school, you have to. And so the glamorous part of that is you're confident. There's nothing more amazing than just standing differently and feeling good about your skincare class. So I love that. It's just, I truly believe confidence is everything. And today we got our assignments for career conference and I'm so excited. The topic I got is confidence because that's something I'm so passionate about because I struggled with that for so long and my business is completely transformed because I chose to be confident in as many arenas of my life as I can. So I think the glamorous part of memorizing scripts is you look like you know what you're doing, therefore you carry yourself differently, you know? So I love that. Okay, any questions on that page? No? Okay, awesome. Okay, you guys, so 10 daily choices add up to inches. So I'm not gonna sit here and have you guys write these all out right now, but I do want you to go back and revisit this. And I was doing some research and I realized how many people in America make choices based off that very moment and that impulse. So for example, as I'm driving here, I see this woman eating McDonald's. Now, if you ate McDonald's on the way here, it's totally okay. But eating McDonald's, and she's eating while she's driving, which in this weather seems very scary. But she's eating McDonald's, and I wonder to myself, is that like a splurge for her? Is that like an everyday thing for her? Is that an all the time? Because we can all agree that McDonald's every day is probably not healthy, right? Does anybody disagree? Okay, we're good. Okay, so on this page it says the difference between wildly successful and those that aren't. Number one, the 10 habits that you're consistent with, okay? So we're probably all consistent at hopefully showering, eating, going to the bathroom, maybe coming to your weekly meeting. And then so you can incorporate like life stuff and you can incorporate business stuff, okay? But why are we good at those things, yet we're not good at other things? And so I know for the longest time, I used to be that person that was like, oh, I'll start on Monday. Oh, I'll do that on Monday, right? Every day was like, a month. Don't raise your hand if that's you. But every week was like, oh, Monday, Monday, Monday. And so I was really good at certain things, but really bad at certain things. And what we call that is your inches. And so many people have created habits where their inches are, oh, just right now. And in this decision, I'm going to eat this. And so people don't realize that over time, those inches add up to your current situation. And so if maybe every Friday night you had McDonald's and every Monday you had Chick-fil-A and every Wednesday in that moment, it's like, oh, it's just this small decision that I'm making right now. It's okay. But you do that long enough over time, it's going to get you where you're at. So miss enough weekly meetings. Right now, it might just seem like the weather's not great. I don't want to go out. Everything's going to be okay. And then next week, you're like, God, I got the flu. And oh, I hate that I'm missing it. And then the next week, it's like, oh, well, my son's first basketball game and I can't miss that. And so it might not seem like a big deal in the inches moment, but I will tell you that over time, now your business is in major jeopardy because you've missed 3 weekly meetings. And therefore, like Linda Tupin says, your business is on life support because you've made so many repetitive decisions that overall the long-term effect is that you're not in the head space. Now you buy your own lies, right? Like we buy our own excuses. We're like, I'll take a ticket on that one. Like you believe what you're telling yourself, like, it's okay, it's okay. But over time, what the crucialness to that is the long-term effect of what that has. Does that make sense to you guys? Like in that moment, you don't think it's a big deal, but every decision you make, whether it's, I'm going to make my booking calls Monday and Tuesday. Well, Monday comes around, you don't feel good, so you don't do it. I'll do it tomorrow. Well, Tuesday comes around and your mom says, or your daughter says, Mom, I had this really fun thing. Can we go? And then all of a sudden you get mom guilt and you're like, okay, well, I'll start next week. And so the problem now is that you have no parties for the next 2 weeks because you made a decision in that moment not to actually follow through on what you said you were going to do. And so now what you chose not to do Monday and Tuesday is affecting you for the next 2 weeks. Where you said you were going to do. Does that make sense, you guys? And so that's what we call inches. And so it's very eye-opening to me when I was researching was that people really do make a decision based off of emotion and in that moment. And so it might not seem like a big thing, but over time you continue to think and operate out of that way, then you're never going to get where you want to be. And I think that's why a lot of people have become complacent or stagnant or whatever, is that you kind of just buy your own stuff. You buy your own stories, you buy your own excuses, and over time it does have that long-term effect. So I want you guys later at another time to write down your 10 habits you're good at, 10 habits you're not good at, and then at that inches, my definition for you is that we don't think these have a huge effect over time, but it adds up over time. So inches add up to miles, they add up to feet, they add up to your future, if you're not willing to make those crucial decisions. So at the bottom, it says, why does one choose to eat unhealthy and not go to the gym and not have quiet time or not make their booking calls? Because they don't believe that that choice will impact them today. That thought that they can be different, that thought can be the difference between success and not. I will tell you guys, I did not feel like going to the gym 2 days ago. I think I was there and it was just freeze. Like this weather's literally made me not want to go anywhere. And I remember being there and I'm like, Brittany, you are working out of commitment. You are not working out of emotion, and I really had to remind myself. But if I had chosen not to do that, then, it's a domino effect. Miss one day and then, anything can happen. And so that is the difference between success and not. So you will make choices in your daily life that can contribute to your success. They might not look like much, but I promise they will add up over time. Not going to career conference. That could be a decision that could affect you over a long period of time. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. I think that was very eye-opening for me to realize okay, it might not seem like a big deal in that moment, but For me, I always love to think of inches. And so I hope you guys can remember this symbol. You know, as you're going through your business or life or the gym, like I literally have to remind myself, inches, Brittany, you're making an inch decision right now. You know, like, is that a good decision, you know, for your future? So just, I love symbols. I love when I'm like not in, you know, where I want to be or whatever. I have to like just snap my finger and remember something. So I hope that helps you guys. Okay. Okay. So where did we, positive visualization? Okay. So this is something that I went to coaching school. And I am someone who, after life, when life happens, y'all, you will realize that a bar pin, a bumblebee, a suit, and a car are not going to solve any problems, right? At the end of the day, no one's in this business for a bar pin. It's fun to pick up those diamonds, but like when life gets crazy, someone gets ill, you lose a loved one, whatever, like that's not going to be what gets you out of bed in that moment, right? Can we all agree? Okay, perfect. So I personally believe you need to have some sort of symbol and positive visualization. So when I went to coaching school, they told us that you need a symbol, something where you can close your eyes and it comes to mind and you literally can snap out of it or just get some juice back or get some joy back. And for me, for the longest time, I wanted to be a national sales director, and I was doing it for what at the time was my ex-husband. And so now I'm divorced and I'm running for national, and my vision was completely gone. I saw the finish line and I saw no one on the other side. And that was really hard for me to continue to push because I thought for the longest time, that's why I was doing that. And so I really had to think long and hard about why I was doing this. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with is they have a goal, they have a purpose, maybe they have a why, but they don't have a visual of what that's going to do for their lives in the long term. And so, anyways, God gave me a new vision, and that was for the women that were in my national area and my future and all of that. And so as I was becoming a national, I had actually gone to the coaching school, and she said, what's your visual? Close your eyes. And for me, it was, I had to realize like it was a home. It was a happy, healthy home because I did grow up in a very financially distressed home where my dad was not in the picture. And then if he was, there was a lot of fighting. And so I needed a visualization that like just brought me so much peace and serenity. So I could close my eyes and I could see this big, beautiful home, and I could see Bear, my chihuahua, like I could hear him and see him running around. I could hear the babies, you know, crawling. I could hear daddy's home. I could hear a healthy husband walking through the door, and I could see that, you guys. Like I could see the brick. I could see what he was wearing. I could see Bear running around like crazy. I could see spit up all over I could see it. I could see everything. And so that was something that I realized I was lacking for so long, because I think that when life does get crazy, it's fine to have a bar pin or whatever, but that is not what's going to keep you motivated, you know, in a stressful situation or in time. You know, when that job looks so convenient, think of your, you know, your visualization. Are you ever going to have that with that job? Maybe not. So then you can snap yourself back into that. And so for me, I feel like my business is really cut into two different formats. And so the other thing is when you create that visualization, you have to come up with a new visualization. So I bought my dream home now, and I am marrying my dream man, but I don't have the dream baby. So that still keeps me motivated, but I had to then take it to the next level, you know, to be able to buy my mom a dream home. And so you have to be aware of what your goals are to be able to transition them. So I also felt as though I truly believe that I'm a national sales director because God just ordained it, and we worked together on that. And so that was something where I felt like Mary Kay was a big, filled a big void in my life. And so the other part of that was when I'm, whatever thoughts might be going through my mind, or maybe I'm battling that day or whatever, because I'm not perfect, was closing my eyes and hearing angels, like harps, like hearing music, because I needed a symbol. So the first symbol was I could close my eyes and see the house and everything. But if I needed a symbol, it was a music symbol. And the music symbol was because my dreams and my desires was to see all of my sales directors in heaven. And so like I needed to be able to close my eyes and know that I'm not doing this for me, because sometimes I won't do things for me. Sometimes I need to do things for other people. And so my two symbols are the home and everything inside. And then the second symbol was music symbols. And even if it's not just my directors, but having a lasting impact and seeing all of Mary Kay in heaven, because I made a difference. So I think everybody operates differently. I needed to, because I know myself, and I know that like you know, if I find myself comfortable or whatever, I need to have something else, you know, to work for. And so, so I think it's important to know that, and you don't have to make a decision of what your visual is right now. I had another national call me and she's like, you're so good at this. Tell me how to create a vision. And we had a lot of coaching calls and conversations. And she's like, I knew you were the perfect person for this because we peeled the layers of the orange. Why are you doing this? What motivates you? What excites you? You have a home. So what, you know, and it came to be that she wanted to be able to support her parents, you know, and so you may have to ask yourself some questions. You might have to have a coaching call because I think everyone's goal isn't necessarily what they're going to visualize. It's not necessarily what their symbol is to pop them out. So, there's exercise number 1, and it says, begin establishing a highly specific goal. Imagine your future having already achieved your goal. Hold a mental picture of it as if it were occurring to you right in that moment. Imagine the scene in as much detail as possible. Engage as many of your 5 senses as you can, your visualization. So that's what I would do, you guys. I would close my eyes and I would hear Bear. I would hear the babies. I would know what I was wearing. I would know what he was wearing. I could smell whatever was cooking for dinner. Like, you really have to put yourself in that. And obviously great posture is great. Being in a good environment is great. Practice at night and in the morning. And you guys, what I love about this too is that I was having these visualizations before we were even done within our national area, but I knew it was done because I was so in tune with what I wanted. And I was so in tune with what that was going to look like, what it was going to smell like, what it was, the picture, everything. But if you're not putting yourself in that position, it's really hard to see yourself there. And I remember Leah telling me that she would go make her booking calls in a model home. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's genius. She's putting herself in a place where she wants to be. And then she bought a house in that neighborhood, you know? And so you have to be able to visualize and see yourself there. And so for me, I love the symbols, but I think it's important, you guys, to visualize that. So that space is for you to either pick a symbol or at least draw in your mind what that looks like, what that visualization looks like. So at the bottom are some examples of visualization. Goal posters, I think, are really, really great. I will tell you guys that in my condo before we became a national, I literally had pictures everywhere of London. That was the year that we did the London was the trip. So there was pictures everywhere of London. I had my national area posters everywhere. I mean, I couldn't even open the pantry or the washing machine without like seeing posters of everything everywhere. So visualization is key. And I remember people are like, God, that's some tacky wallpaper. And you know, and I'm just like, I don't even care. Like, I don't even care what you people think. I remember one of my directors said she got in my car and I had stuff on my, what's that? Visor. And she's like, I thought you were so corny for the longest time. And then I realized that works, you know? And so it is, I mean, it's not the prettiest stuff, but I don't really care. So goal posters, affirmations, I told you guys a little bit about that already, but having alarms on your phone so that you remember to do your affirmations once or twice a day. I even tell my consultants and my directors to set an alarm in their phone to check in with me because I know sometimes it's easier to forget about accountability. Having your background on your phone, I know we did that. And so, you know, having your savers in the morning and doing your background on your phone, dream dates. We talked about that. You guys did that. I thought that was so cool. I think that's really important to do maybe every quarter with your significant other. So you can see where you're at. Maybe you need to have a come to Jesus with him, you know, or he needs to have one with you, you know? And so I think accountability is huge, and allowing your partner, your significant other to call you out without being persecuted for it. You know, I mean, I know I've been there where I'm like, well, how dare you? And it's like, well, I mean, it's the truth, right? And so it hurts, but it needs to be said. And then a dream book, you know, that you can add and you can grow. But I think the biggest thing, you guys, is putting yourself in that position. You know, like, what are you going to wear, you know, to seminar? What are you going to wear when you debut? What are your shoes going to look like? You know, what are you and your senior going to be wearing? Are you guys going to have matching shoes? Are you going to have the matching same dress? Like, what's it going to feel like? What kind of car? You know, well, I guess which kind of car are you going to earn, you know, for a seminar, all of those things, like visualize, see yourself there makes a world of a difference. I know for me, after coaching school, just hearing it put that way and having that visualization, you guys, made the world of a difference, because I will tell you, when your world is rocked, those diamond bar pins are not going to do anything for you, you know? And so that was really, really big for me. So any questions on that? No? Does that help you guys?
So on the dream book, is you put all this stuff that you're talking about, like,
yeah. So for me, I think a dream book is something that you can take with you to appointments and show people what you're working on. I think that could be really motivating. And then you could say, this came true, this came true. Like, I remember Leah had a goal poster, and every year she would show us what came true. that year. And gosh, you guys, that will definitely encourage people. And so you could have a book and, you know, put the things that you want in there. And then when it comes true, you can show that to people. I use my dream book sometimes as like my daily devotion, and I'll write in it next to the things that I'm working for. I think it's just different per person, per basis. But I think people are motivated by other people's dreams. So I think it's cool to have a book where you can show people what you're working for. Yeah. Okay. So accepting the critics to fuel you. This is one of my favorite things. Okay, so let me make a disclosure. So this is not something that I would ever tell you guys to tell someone, okay? This is to give you peace, mental peace. This is what I'm about to tell you is not for you to be like, well, Brittany said this. No, this is for you to carry this with you in your back pocket so that when someone does say something, you can say, remember what, you know, and you can not let it get the best of you. You can let it not steal your joy. You know, that is one of my biggest things. I feel you guys, when you debut as a sales director and when you debut as a national, you're going to say, I sound like my mom. Because I remember when Leah would say, you're letting that person steal your joy. Or she would just all these little one-liners. And now I feel like I'm telling you let that person steal your joy. I'm like, I sound like my mom, you know? And so that is one of my favorite things is that the longer you stick to this, the more confident you become. You're just like, ain't no thing. Like, it's just ain't no thing. And you find yourself equipping your people with those resources. So everybody understand this is not for you to be like, this is my one-liner. Brittany told me to tell you. Okay, this is not what this is. Okay. So the first one is when you have a non-supportive friends or family. My number one advice to you is don't talk about Mary Kay. Don't talk about it. Then it doesn't leave anything on the table for discussion if people are not supportive. Okay? Now, there are people that may continue to come at you about that. And my second point would be if it's someone you're doing life with, like my mom, you all know she was not supportive. She is today. Took a while. But I think I had to debut as a national for her to finally jump on board. You know, Cadillacs don't matter. You know, I think people are just nervous for us. You guys, that's what it comes down to is they don't know what they don't know and they're not in the pink bubble. And so it's your job to just give them that peace or that comfort or at least shut it down. Okay. And so my second point to that would be I've had to tell people I appreciate your concern and I'll keep that in mind. I appreciate your concern and I'll keep that in the mind and out the ear, right? Like I'm really not stalking that there, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that I actually am taking into consideration what you said. Is I appreciate your thoughts. I'll take that into consideration and move on. You don't really need to take it into consideration, guys. You're just telling them you are. Okay, so you don't have to carry that with you. And then my third thing that I've literally had to do is I've had to tell people, I'm sorry, but this clearly is something where we're going to agree to disagree. And I'd appreciate if you please would not bring up my business because this just isn't good for either one of us. And I love you and I want to continue to love you and I want you to continue to love me. So let's just not talk about my business. And I've had to have that heart-to-heart conversation with people because they would constantly jab it or make jokes or make fun or whatever. And I just said, like, I love you, but I don't make jabs at what you do. And so I'd really appreciate if we just don't talk about Mary Kay. If that's something that we just don't come to terms on, like, let's just not talk about it. And I pray that you guys will never have to have those difficult situations. But if you do, I think it's important to have a backbone because the second you let someone continue to jab and jab and jab and you let it affect you, they're going to know your hot spots. And they're going to keep going back for more. You know, everybody's got a bully in their life, right? I remember my stepdad saying, you know, you can earn one, well, can't you lose it too? You know, and that was, oh my gosh, I was so irritated. But, you know, I was just like, yep, I guess you could. You know, like that thought never went through my mind, you know, only a negative person would think that thought. But it's okay to have those boundaries. Okay. So number 2, when someone imposes their thoughts or opinions on you, that's where I feel like you do have to create boundaries. And so my advice to you is to create boundaries. When someone imposes those those thoughts or those opinions, that's again where you can say like, I'm so sorry, but I just don't think we agree on this one. And I think it's okay to just not talk about it. And my advice would be shake it off. You know, I think those first 2 are very similar, but to shake it off. Because at the end of the day, you are allowing someone to steal your joy. You are allowing someone to impose those thoughts on you, and you're allowing someone to even plant that seed. Like I for the longest time, didn't really think any negative thoughts with stuff because that's not where my brain goes. And so I'd find myself, you know, people would be imposing their thoughts and I would absorb it like a sponge and it would change my attitude, not for the good. And so I had to be very cautious as to what I would allow people to say. So I just say like, girl, if you're not coming at me with anything positive, let's change the subject. you know, because this doesn't benefit you or I, you know? And so it's okay to set those boundaries with people. Now, hopefully you don't have to, but reality is you may. Okay, the third one. When someone says Mary Kay is not a guaranteed income, again, this is not for you to rebuttal. This is for you to just know in the back of your head, okay? Number one, nothing is guaranteed. You could have a master's degree, a doctorate, whatever, nothing is guaranteed. Businesses are closing down every single day. They're downsizing, they're hiring, you know, across the country. Nothing is guaranteed. Just remember that when someone tells you that. The second thing is that if your work ethic is guaranteed, then this business is guaranteed. So the question that you should be asking yourself is my work ethic guaranteed? Because if it is, then you're golden, guys. You're golden. And that's just truly what I've always felt is, you know, when people say, oh, are you a guaranteed paycheck? And I'm like, well, I guess no. But I mean, if you didn't show up and do your job, would you get a paycheck? Right? Like, no. So how is Mary Kay any different? If you're doing the work, you'll get paid. If you're not, you won't. Okay? And then the third one is Mary Kay has always made 50%. So that is guaranteed. That is guaranteed. If you're doing the faces, you're doing the work, you sell a product, you are guaranteed a paycheck. Now let's pray that you can handle your money correctly, right? To be able to obtain that paycheck. But Mary Kay is, 50%. So you are guaranteed. Okay. When someone says Mary Kay isn't a real job, my thought process for you guys is that all entrepreneurs have to start somewhere, right? Steve Jobs did not start out, you know, in his position and people were telling him, you're amazing. No, quite the opposite. So all entrepreneurs start somewhere. Number two, any sales job is exactly the same. Whether you're selling cars, medicine, houses, checking accounts, our world and our economy runs on sales. Mary Kay is no different, you guys. And so I think the sooner you can embrace that, pharmaceutical sales, you guys, everybody works on commission. So how is Mary Kay any different? It's not. Somehow someone got in our head and told us differently and you bought the story they were telling you. And so at the end of the day, our economy runs on sales. Mary Kay is no different. Okay? And number three is we make money. So how is it not real? Right? We make money. There's a compensation plan. You make a 50% commission. There's a product involved. So what's not real about that? Nothing. Nothing is unreal about that. But again, you guys have to be confident in that knowledge so that if someone says something to you, you're almost just like, wow, that's a really stupid, small thinking mindset.
Yeah.
You know, because it is. And I don't mean to be ugly, but it is. I mean, how is this any different from selling pharmaceutical? How is this any different from selling a car? It's not. It's, are you doing the work? That's how you gauge money. Okay. And the last one is, do people still use Mary Kay? My first one is, do people still have skin? Right? Are people still washing their face? Okay. Number two is, we are a $3.75 billion company. So yes, I think people still use Mary Kay. $3.75 billion company. Yes, and we are debt-free. And number three, I would say in 2015, because my numbers weren't updated, we had 3,500,000 consultants in Mary Kay. So I would say people do still use Mary Kay, yes. And there's so many better numbers of like where we're at in ranking and all of that, but I didn't have any of that updated information, so I don't want to give that to you. But our products have been in the top for a really long time. So, I mean, if you want to look up those stats, there's some really great stats with that. Again, to be like, blah, 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 blah. No, this is for you to be confident in your decision and your ability to continue to rock your business, whether or not you hit, a confrontation or not or whatever. But I know for me, I love having those nuggets in my back pockets. Okay, so we're going to move on to success stories. So I love this stuff. This really motivates me, you guys, when I hear people who dealt with just crap and stuff and naysayers, and it's like, look at him now, And so the first one is Ben Carson. He was told he was stupid by teachers, and now he is, I think he was the #1 or the first American neurosurgeon, and he's worth over $29 million, but is told he was stupid. I don't know, but I've worked in healthcare, you guys. A neurosurgeon is probably the smartest person in the building. and they know it.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
So told he was stupid by teachers, and now he is a neurosurgeon worth over 29 million. And he's also in politics and stuff like that. Okay. Second one is Oprah. She was told she was unfit for TV. Okay. So she is the richest African-American talk show host, an actress, producer, and philanthropist. I don't know her net worth, but it is a lot. So, but unfit for TV, and now she's pretty much owns her own network and all of that. So, kind of crazy. So you guys, I don't know about you, but this motivates me when people say, you know, because you're gonna find those people who impose their opinion on you, and you're like, remember. Okay, David Sanders, famous chicken recipes were rejected over 1,000 times. He is Mr. KFC, and he's the second largest restaurant chain with over 20,000, I think my number on that is wrong, 200,000 locations globally, and he's in 123 countries. 200,000 locations globally, and 123 countries, but he is the second largest restaurant chain. But it was rejected over 1,000 times.
Can everybody make sure they have their Wi-Fi turned off on their cell phones? We're getting reports that it's breaking up, so it might be too many things pulling Wi-Fi. Just, sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Thank you. Okay, and I don't have her on here, you guys, but how many times did J.K. Rowling get denied, like, her book deal, and now she's, like, the richest author ever known to mankind? How many times?
Oh, more.
Oh, way more than that. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot, but I don't know the number either. But that is mind-blowing to me. You guys, and she wrote the book on napkins. You know, like, oh my gosh, talk about motivation. Okay, so Stephen was rejected from the University of Southern California 3 times and eventually dropped out of another college. You guys, that is the co-founder of Apple and CEO Steve Jobs. And he is the majority, or was majority of the shareholder of Pixar, and co-pioneer of the microcomputer, which revolutionized in the 70s and the 80s. But dropped out of college, was rejected, and I think Apple even fired him at one point and then asked him to come back. Yeah. So you guys, I mean, like, take that, right? Like, oh my gosh, and what a legacy that man has created, and such a comfortable lifestyle for his family. You know, it's sad that he did pass away, but I do remember reading a quote that said, you know, as Steve Jobs knew his life was coming to an end, what is one thing that you would change about your life? And he said, I think I would have valued it so much more. I would have been more intentional with my time. I would have, you know, just say that again.
He would have given back more.
Yes, and given back more. He would have done more, and he would have enjoyed life and not put so much pressure on himself to be so perfect. So, gosh, talk about food for thought. Okay, next is the Beatles group was told they never had a future in show business, and they are still the best-selling band in history. Crazy, right? Like, I wish we could go back and be like, hey, who was your number one naysayer? And then go interview them. You know, be like, so what'd you think now? You know? I just think that would be so cool. They're probably yet to be found, you know? But I just think that's so cool. I was talking to someone today, and actually it was my mom, which just literally broke my heart. But she told me about, I guess, some kid in school made some fat joke about her. And it literally, I'm just like looking at this 50-year-old woman sitting in front of me, and I'm like, you're still carrying that with you? Yes. You're still carrying that with you. And only because of Mary Kay do I not care what people said to me. I truly believe when I was young. You know, it does not bother me anymore. Like, I don't care. But what's so sad to me is that my 50-year-old mom sitting in front of me is still carrying that around with her, you guys. That's so crazy how many people impose their opinions. And the saddest part about it is they don't even remember saying it. You know, like when someone, it's like, do you remember when you said that? And they're like, no. You know, and so, God, I was like, Mom, not anymore. Get rid of it. You know, so that's crazy. Okay, Vincent only sold 1 painting in his lifetime. Well, Vincent van Gogh is among the most famous and influential figures in history of Western arts. You guys, he committed suicide because he was poor. That man, I mean, had he hung out a little bit longer, would probably have been left an amazing, amazing life. I mean, his art is worth millions, billions, like amazing. So crazy. He was told he really had no art skill, and amazing. Okay, this is one of my favorite. Jerry froze in his first time on stage, and now Jerry Seinfeld is the greatest stand-up comedian of all time. And he was told he couldn't be on stage, and he didn't know what the heck he was doing. That's pretty amazing. I love Jerry Seinfeld because I feel like he's still one of the only cleanest comedians. I feel like, why did jokes become so vulgar? But again, that's just me. Okay, Roland Hussey failed 7 business ventures. And that is the guy who started Macy's. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. 7 failed business ventures. And now Macy's. Obviously, he doesn't own Macy's anymore. It's gone a long time ago, but sold it a long time ago. But I thought that was interesting because how many people start a business and feel like, oh, well, that didn't work. I'm not cut out to own a business. I'm not good. No, he realized he had to find his niche, what was great for him. And then my last one is Nike was on the brink of bankruptcy. Would you believe that? And now it's a multinational corporation valued at $29.6 billion. Pretty stinking cool, I think, just to see other people who maybe weren't born, you know, into money or whatever and had to do the work and what came from that. So I love that. Okay, any questions on week 2, y'all? Okay, so next is cultivating a relationship, right? Okay, now you guys have heard me say this a lot, and I've talked about it with my area a lot, but I feel like my word for the year, I have like 3 words, but I've realized it's come to me that connecting is really my word. Like I am all about connecting. I'm all about building relationships. I'm a people person, and so I love people, and I think connecting is where I grow and thrive the most. So what does this do in the long run when cultivating a relationship, whether it's with your team members or your customers? I believe, number 1, we're talking mainly about customers here, you guys, but also this could absolutely relate to your team members, is number 1 is consistent reorders. Consistent reorders occur when you're building a long-lasting relationship. And that could mean for your team members too. You sign someone up and then just leave them out to dry. They're probably not going to place another order, right? They're probably not going to help you on your next venture, your next goal, because then they just feel like an order to you. They don't feel like a connection. So cultivating a relationship and a connection will help you in that fashion. So consistent reorders. Number 2 is steady income. When you build a relationship and a connection with your customers and they don't just feel like a sale to you, they will stay with you, and that equips to steady income. Your customer, I mean, who doesn't love waking up to an email that says, hey girl, I'm out of practically everything. Here's a couple $100 in your pocket, right? Like I love that. But I promise you, you guys, it takes 4 seconds to create a first impression. So if someone just feels sold by you, they will not come back to you for their order. They will go to someone else. Whether it's Mary Kay or the Clinique counter, they will find it through someone else. Women are very interesting creatures like that, right? Like we know, we pick up on that. And so you do have to be careful. Number 3, I believe it builds longevity. Longevity. Your people will not leave you, you guys. That's why I love, you know, when people incorporate their families and their vision for their business and they tell their customers, like, because of you, I get to have this life. Because of you, I get to put my kids in private school. Because of you, I get to be a work from home mom. Tell your people what you're doing, you guys. They will stay attached to you, and that will create longevity. And then be in tune with their families. You know, find out what their kids are doing. What are they into? Are they playing soccer? Like, I'm not asking you to go sit down and have an hour conversation with all your customers, but be in tune with your people. And that's really easy now with social media. Like with social media, add your customers. I remember I would always comment on a couple of my customers in California, like their kids and how big they're growing. And y'all, these customers are my best customers because they took the time to just build that connection. And the 4th thing is loyalty. Women are loyal. And that is one, you know, I was talking with some of my national girlfriends and they said, what is the one thing that you value most in a friendship? And I would have to say, for me, it's loyalty. Like I am all about, you know, people having my back and me having their back. And no matter what, like loyalty is key, and your customers want that too. And your customers want to know that they mean something to you. But also the great part about that is in the long run, you guys, that means loyalty for you when you connect a relationship. They're not going to buy from someone else when they go to a party. They're not going to be persuaded by a sale that someone's running on Facebook when they probably shouldn't be posting that on Facebook, right? Like their loyalty is to you, you know, when you cultivate that relationship. Okay, so what does this look like? Number 1, I probably sound like a broken record to you guys. Customer follow-up, right? Customer follow-up. You know, if you're getting that one-time sale, you're leaving and they're never hearing from you again, there's no loyalty there, right? Are you sending in a thank you card in the mail? You know, thank you so much for your order. You know, I loved meeting you and blah, 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 blah. You know, like, are you doing that? So customer follow-up is what that looks like. And then number 2, like I said, kind of goes with that, but thank you cards, personalization, something that says, I appreciate you. You know, when a new product comes out, I have customers who spend over $1,000 a year with me. And so when a new product comes out, I send it to them. I value your opinion. I'd like to know what your thoughts are. And so then they buy it, you know, and so it's not a big deal. I might be giving them, you know, essentially my cost on the product, but like they stick with me because they love those perks that come with that. And so, you know, really just personalizing whatever you can do for your customer. So I think that that's key, you guys. Number 3 is this looks like a relationship beyond the sale. And a lot of the stuff is kind of similar, but a relationship beyond the sale. So if you are Facebook friends with them and they, you know, are posting something that's happening in their life, send them a personal text message that says, hey, I saw your post and praying for you, you know, or whatever. Is there anything that I can, you know, do for you this, you know, help you with this month in your skincare and cosmetic needs? And just know that sending prayers your way, you know, something like personalize your communication to them. Don't make it always just about business. Ask how their kids are doing. Ask how their daughter's wedding was. And then, hey, by the way, I'm going to be in your area this week. I'd love to know, is there anything you're running low on? If so, I'm happy to drop it off. Don't just make it about business. But in order to not make it just about business, you guys do have to cultivate that relationship. My profile cards have so much chicken scratch on them because I write myself notes, you know, twin babies and and their birthday's this and anniversary. And I try to make notes of that stuff, pop in anniversary cards, pop in birthday cards, you know, that kind of stuff just to create and cultivate that relationship. You guys, I know no one else is doing that. You know, unless you sign up on someone's email, then they send you a birthday email. But that's so automated, I feel like there's no connection with that. So stuff in the mail, people love Happy Mail. Like I have checked the mail every single day this week, and I was so sad Monday was President's Day because I love getting our save the dates. Like I'm so excited. Who's coming? Who's coming? Who's not coming? Praise God, they're not coming. No, I'm just kidding. That's more for, I shouldn't even say. Sometimes family is interesting. So, okay, that was so mean of me. I apologize. That was rude. Okay, so relationships beyond the sale. Number 4, sharing your desires to be their person. That's one thing that I have had to stress to my customers is, you know, when they say like, okay, well, we'll see if this works, and I just don't have the best luck with products, or da-da-da-da. I tell them, like, I look them in the eye, and I'm like, listen, girl, my heart's desire is to be your person. I want to be your skincare and your cosmetic guru for life. I'm committed to finding a solution for your needs no matter what. So if this particular product line doesn't work, we're going to find something else. Does that make sense? Like this isn't a one-time sale. Like I am your person and I want to be your person. And so I'm committed to finding a solution for you. Does that sound good? You know, and I do. I have those conversations with my customers because I don't want them to think if this foundation doesn't work and they return it, then I'm going to be mad at them or they have to keep it and, you know, whatever. But I love that. I love just telling them point blank, this is what my expectation is for us. Like, well, you're not going anywhere. And they don't always stick with you. But I love telling them, like, girl, this is not a one-time sale. Like, I'm your person and I want to fulfill your skincare and cosmetic needs for life. Can we be lifers? Like, and I'll even say, can we be lifers? You know? And they'll say, yeah, oh my gosh, that sounds great, you know? And I love that. And sometimes they make jokes like, do you do hair too? Because I really need a new hair for, you know, and they, you know, make jokes about it. But when you tell people that you're committed to them, they love that. Okay. Okay. Next is common mistakes when dealing with customers. Number 1 is focusing on just a quick sale. I think some consultants and even maybe directors are so focused on money, the number, goal, that they're focusing on the quick sale and they're dropping the ball in a lot of different arenas, and then it's going to affect them in the long run. Like that's one thing I know for me, if I had been a little bit better in the beginning, I would have an amazing customer reorder business. But I was so caught up in quarter share and quarter sales, you know, like the bar pin. And I feel like I did drop the ball with some things. And so there wasn't as great of a reorder business because I was so focused on the in and out. I didn't book the second appointment, or maybe I didn't follow up with them. And so I believe the number 1 mistake is focusing on a quick sale. Number 2 is being pushy or desperate. And, you know, I do have some consultants who say, like, I'm concerned about being pushy. I don't want to be pushy. Okay. Well, if you're worried about being pushy, guess what? You're not pushy. Okay. The people who are pushy are the ones who don't even think they're pushy. It's the truth. Okay. So pushy or desperate. You don't want to be either. Number 3 is not listening. When your customer is telling you what her needs are or what she's tried or whatever, and you're just so focused on, well, this. If there is no listening intently to what she's telling you, y'all, she's gone, right? When you're trying to push something that they don't need, or you're like, well, let's book your second appointment. And she's like, I live in Australia. Okay, well, let's book that second appointment. You know, like, it's not going to work. okay? Unless we're FaceTiming. Okay, so not listening. And number 4, and I hear this so much, which is really, really sad, is not timely delivery or follow-up.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many customers I've gained because they're like, girl, I ordered products months ago, still haven't gotten it. You know, or I need this and it's been 2 weeks and I haven't heard from my consultant. I emailed her, I texted her, I called her. Now, I do believe a lot of those people have left Mary Kay, which is probably why they stopped following up with them. But I will tell you guys that happens enough and they will leave Mary Kay entirely because that's frustrating.
Yeah.
It's absolutely frustrating when they're like, I could go to a makeup counter, you know, but they love the loyalty and they love the product. I know for me, if someone drops, someone drops the ball on me a couple times, I'm like, okay, well, clearly it's not important to her, you know? And so we are the voice in the face of Mary Kay. So just being timely with that. And if I ever drop the ball, like a lot of my customers Facebook message me, well, if I'm not always on Facebook, sometimes a day or 2 goes by. And so I will pop in, like either give them a little bit of a discount or like some extra samples or whatever to make it up for them. And I try to tell them, please text me or jump on my website. Remember, I got a website, you know? And so, but just being very timely. And then also if something happens and you do drop the ball, take ownership of that and do something to make it right. And they'll stay with you. So, okay. And the last one is what keeps them coming back. Number 1 would be the products. They are amazing. They are so amazing. I love when people tell me I don't look my age. I love when people look at my sister and say she does. We're twins. I know that sounds so bad. She has access to it. She just chooses not to. What else keeps them coming back? Loving you. They love you. They love their consultant. I love hearing when people say, I have a consultant. Her name is Susie. Da, da, da. And I eat it up with a spoon because I think that's so cool that they love their consultant. But do you know your consultants enough or your customers enough for them to love you? Right? Like, great question. And then the last one is knowing you. So loving you and knowing you. Knowing a little bit about your life, but also loving what they know. You know, there's a difference of knowing all your dirty laundry because you post it all over Facebook or loving who you be and knowing what your life looks like. You know, there's definite balance in that. And it is so funny when people say like, oh my gosh, my Facebook is just so negative, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, really? People still post negative stuff on Facebook? And they're like, yeah, girl, what world do you live in? And I'm like, oh, it's Mary Kay. Nobody does that in Mary Kay. And if they do, I unfriend them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even know half of them anyway. So that's, you know, I don't know all of my friends. So if someone posts something that I don't like, I have no qualms deleting them. When people go political, I'm like, goodbye. You know, like I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Okay. So does that make sense, you guys?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So pre-profiling questions. Not going to go into detail about those. But I love the pre-profiling questions. I think you guys, the biggest thing about pre-profiling is when you're connecting with the customers, they're going to come. When they hear from you, again, connecting and incorporating that relationship. When you walk into a home and there's 6 complete strangers sitting in front of you and they've never heard your voice, that's a little awkward, right? Opposed to, oh my gosh, you know, like you've connected with every single one of them. You guys, Mary Kay was a very smart businesswoman. She designed this business for a reason. And she knew that women size each other up. They think whatever they think, their insecurity thoughts might come through and you've got those first 4 seconds. So if we've already had a conversation, you love me or you know me or you feel like you know me and I feel like I know you. So there's no sizing up. It's like there's that friend that called me 2 days ago and asked me about my skin opposed to like, oh, so she's the chick, right? Like 10 minutes late, you know, or whatever, you know, opposed to like, oh, that's, you know, you know, there's a softness that comes from taking the time and connecting with people. So you can totally just show up to your parties, but I promise they'll be much better when you pre-profile. Okay. Next, let's see. Okay, so customer care and follow-up. Here's your different scripts: 2 days, 2 week, 2 months. And you guys, I love just throwing candy, cute little samples. I love making my bags look cute, doing something, whatever I can. I ordered off Amazon those cute little lip envelopes that I'll ship my products to, or fun designs, or going to Dollar Tree and getting cute bags and adding some frill and delivering it to their work, attaching a balloon, you know, whatever, doing something to make them feel special. That's another thing that will keep them coming to you, you know, is when you go the extra mile, add a little fluff, make them feel special, they will absolutely stick with you too. So, okay, I'm not going to go over all that. You can go over that later. Okay, confidence in the close. We didn't go over this yet, right?
No.
Okay. Okay, so for me, I really had to change my thought process on the close because as a business owner, I felt like as a consultant and even as a sales director, it was like, well, what's the point of a close? The sale, this, and this, right? That's where my business mind went to. And I feel like we're working with women here, so you have to be very careful about where your intentions are. And so I came to terms with the fact that my goal and my purpose in the close is to find a spot for everyone to find a spot to fill everyone's needs. That's my objection for the close. So find a spot to fill every person's needs. Now, what does that look like? That could look like sending them home with the product. That could look like sharing the opportunity and getting them started as a new consultant. That could look like just making them feel important, right? That could make a woman who's probably not put makeup on or taking care of her skin in years just think, wow, I'm pretty. I feel good, right? So that's where I realized that in the close, if somehow you can adapt to the other things are going to happen when you do your job right? The sale's going to come, the team member's going to come, the new booking's going to come when you do the job and when you ask the questions. But your number one job at a close is to make everyone feel important and to fill every person's needs in that moment. Does that make sense, you guys? To make everyone know that, okay, we're getting down to the sale part. This is where she does her pitch, right? That's where some people go, no. I tell people in my appointments, does your skin feel amazing? Did you have a good time? Okay, that's all I care about. You could all leave now if you want to. And we all chuckle and we joke because I want them to know in all seriousness and all authenticity that is really what I care about. I want to know that they had a good time and their skin feels amazing. The rest is going to come when I sit down with them. I'm not worried about that. But when you're so caught up emotionally in tune to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, follow the outline, I think people pick up on that and it no longer becomes about them. It becomes about you. And so that's what I believe is really important. So the main three objectives to the close obviously are obtain the sale, to get your second appointment, and to schedule your share. Those are the three objectives with the close. Now, I think the biggest thing is being authentic with every single one of these things. And I always am very no pressure and very just relaxed with it and try to make them feel comfortable when it comes to that. But in my mind, I know that if I fill everyone's needs, these three will take place when I follow the outline. And so another way to do that and feel confident is to be prepared with your questions. Be prepared with your outline. I say the same questions to everyone. And so I probably sound like a broken record, but I'm equipped and I feel good about going into that. So how do I sit? Here's a couple things I like to point out. So I remember one of my very first parties I did, there was like no furniture. And I don't know if they just moved in or what, but there was literally no furniture. And so I ended up, when sitting down with people, were sitting on the floor. They were sitting on chairs. I was sitting on the floor. And I remember learning very early on in my Mary Kay training that you don't ever stand above someone. You don't ever sit above them because then you are making yourself feel, what's not inferior, but superior to them. And that makes any woman cringe. It makes any person feel uncomfortable. And so I don't ever want my customers to feel inferior to me. So if it meant I sat on the floor, it meant I sat on the floor, even if it's covered in dog fur. And your customers will say, oh my gosh, there's stuff all over the floor. You guys, I don't care. Like it's not a big deal. I own a washing machine. And so sit below them always, even if they're on the couch and they're like, oh, sit next to me, I will even try to still lower myself a little bit to that because I also want them to know that this is their decision. This is their opportunity. This is where they call the shots. And so if I'm at the same level with them, then we're equals. And I want them to know this is about them. And so I try to lower myself in any way that I can. Okay. How do I talk? Eye contact. It's crazy what eye contact will do, And so if you're just looking at your notes or you're looking at your receipt or you're looking at your set sheet, there's no connection. There's no eye contact. You can read so much in a woman's eyes as to how she's feeling or how this appointment is going. And so eye contact is key. And then being confident. If you're like, okay, so tell me what were some products that maybe you really liked or maybe you didn't like, or, tell me, it's like people are like, what is it? Spit it out, so being confident in your close I think is absolutely key because people will pick up on that and you will get no sales because people are like, I don't understand where you're going with this. It's important to know. But what's great is that if you don't know what you're saying or what you're doing, have it written out and have it sitting in front of you. And so you literally look confident because you're like, tell me, did you have a good time? Okay, great. What were some of your favorite products tonight? Okay, great. So How does your skin feel? Does it feel good? Okay, good. And like you could be brand new, but you read the question, so you're great. Like your confidence is on the paper. So have it with you. Okay, what do I expect? When I'm sitting down with someone, I expect nothing. I have absolutely no expectations. What I have are goals. I have goals to get a sale. I have goals to get a share. I have goals to get a second appointment. But when I walk in with expectations, I walk out with disappointment every single time. So I walk in with goals. I walk in with knowing that that is my job. My job is to get sales. My job is to get bookings. My job is to get shares. And that is my goal, but I have no expectations. And you guys might operate differently, but when I walk in with expectations and I come out and they're below my expectations, I walk out with disappointment. And I don't like that. So we eliminate that altogether. Okay. Okay. Next is, where should my thoughts be? I think that is where this can get a little confusing. So I remember when I had 12 $0 parties in a row, after the fourth one, it was like, well, this one's going to be a bust too, right? Like that's where my thoughts were, because it was like another one bites the dust. After so many, you think they're all going to be awful. And so, which is horrible thought process, but your thoughts should be that it is going to be great, that these women are going to buy products, that they are going to be amazing customers, and they are going to have an amazing time. Your thoughts do need to be positive. If you're like, well, we'll just hope for the best and pray for the, like, no, you definitely want to have great thoughts. And this is where expectations can serve dual purposes. Like, have great expectations, because what you think about, you'll bring about, but don't have such expectations that when you walk out, you're frustrated. Does that make sense? So have great thoughts, have great mindsets, have a great desire for where this is going to take you. But the second you're like, well, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, then you're going to be frustrated. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. And last but not least is, how do I not make this awkward? And I have two things that I say is my questions are prepared. So I know what I'm going to say. And so I'm confident with that. But then number two would be, I always tell my people there's going to be a close at the end. I give them, you guys heard me last week when I gave them the rundown of the party. And I say, okay, at the very end, we're going to do an individual close. And that's where we're all going to sit down individually. You and I, we're going to make sure your skin looks and feels okay. I'm going to make sure your foundation looks right, so you don't walk out looking like an Oompa Loompa, because that's my fault if you do. And then I'll give you guys your gift back. Does that sound great? And so then when I give that precursor in the beginning, they're not like, well, what's the close? Are we going to a dark alley? They don't worry about that because I kind of gave them that information up front. Okay. What was that?
The first one.
The first one, the how do I sit?
No.
Oh, be prepared with questions.
Thank you.
Sorry. Okay. Any questions on that? Yay, we're almost done. Okay. So I'm going to go through these kind of quick because I feel like everyone kind of knows these. But the Mary Kay emotional cycle is so entertaining to me. And especially because I've seen people go through it in like a day. I've seen people go through it in a minute. Seriously, in a minute. I've seen people go through it in a month, whatever. And I can pretty much call my people out where they're at on the emotional cycle. So I'm going to go over this with you guys really quick. And if anything, this is just to give you the ability to call yourself out, to know where you're at, to give you peace that you are normal. And it doesn't mean that you should go to Mary Kay heaven. It just means that you're somewhere on the emotional cycle and you need to get yourself back to excitement. Okay? So everybody starts out in stage 1. That's excitement. So at this stage, a consultant is excited about the future and the possibilities of her Mary Kay career. This is where we always want to be, right? Like I remember getting my starter kit and I call it like the new consultant buzz. Like you're just everybody do Mary Kay and you're so excited and you want to tell the whole world because you love Mary Kay. Okay? Stage 1, excitement. Stage 2, frustration. This is where postponements begin. You might start hitting some obstacles. Maybe your facial boxes got thrown away, or someone booked and then now they're not holding their appointment, whatever. You might ask yourself, why won't my friends or family book with me? I remember going through that where literally none of my friends or family booked with me. Okay. So that's stage 2, that's frustration. Stage 3, that is shock. That is where they said this would be easy. They said this would be so easy. I highly doubt anyone in Mary Kay says this is so easy, just in my opinion. But this is where people get frustrated and they really start to doubt in that fashion. So they said it would be easy. Stage 4, you decide to withdraw. You avoid your meetings. You cook every recipe that you can find from Pinterest. You craft on the weekends, and your attitude really starts to go south. And this is where I find consultants attaching to themselves to someone in a similar stage, or maybe someone stopped going to the meetings and you notice them disappear, and now you're starting to fall into that stage. So you call that person, who left the meetings, and you are collaboratively miserable together now, And so this can be a toxic place to be. So you're in denial, you avoid everyone, you avoid everything, and not a good place to be. Stage 5 is fear. And this is where you're like, I can't do this. This isn't for me. Maybe I shouldn't do this. And I'm going to send my starter kit back. And what did I get myself into? And, all of those emotions. They didn't tell me it would be like this. You start to blame everyone else but yourself, your recruiter, your kids, your husband, you name it. It's their fault, not yours. And what's interesting is a lot of times when people do have support, they still blame their friends and their family. It's like everyone's fault but mine. And I think it's safe to say that most people, a lot of people go through all the stages. It's just how quickly you move yourself out of them. Stage 6 is anger. It's where you get angry at yourself and you admit and recognize that your feelings are not positive. You realize you're responsible for your own successes or your failures. And I think too, this is where people start to wake up and they're like, oh my gosh, I've missed meetings. What are they thinking? Like, oh my gosh, I've disappointed all my people, and you almost feel like you can't go back because you've gotten to stage 6. What's so great about Mary Kay is we're all aware of the emotional cycle. So we're just excited to see you back because you're back, And so we get that. So you'll never have to worry about coming back to Mary Kay and people will be like, girl, we thought we lost you. No, it's like, oh, she's back, back into excitement. Welcome back. That was me last week. No big deal, So the biggest thing is coming back. So it's not a big deal if you disappear and you come back. That's great. Don't ever worry about people judging you for coming back. It's like, yay, she's back. We're always going to be excited to see you, And so don't worry about that. I think some people carry so much of like, they're going to wonder what I've been doing, or nobody cares what you've been doing. We know you haven't been doing Mary Kay or you'd have been here, And so you're back. We're excited about that. Okay. Stage 7 is I never wanted to own my own business anyways. I actually love my other job because it's pretty fulfilling. The hours aren't even that bad. I mean, eventually someday we'll have the down payment for a home. So you decide to quit and you walk away from your dreams entirely. And that is so sad. I hate when people go to Mary Kay heaven, and it just makes me cringe because you guys, the possibilities of a lot of things occurring in your dreams and in your future, like you come into Mary Kay and you're taught to dream, and then you leave Mary Kay and now what? Like you're taught to dream and it's that job that's going to fulfill that for you? No, I don't necessarily think so. And so that makes me sad because I think people start to believe that, like, oh, well, Susie Q is set for retirement in the next 7.5 years. And so surely they'll promote me and that's when we'll be able to buy a home. Like, no, that's probably not what's going to happen. They're going to find someone younger and cuter and give it to someone else, or whatever. And so you start to believe that. And to tell yourself like, oh, I love these hours. These 12-hour shifts are great. It keeps me on my feet. My legs are prime, like, no, I don't think that's the case. And so that is stage 7. Stage 8 is where you realize it's not like you to give up on your dreams or your goals or get discouraged. You decide to get excited again. You send a positive message to your brain and become realistic with your expectations. You get back to your success meetings and open your mind to the possibilities of success again. And I feel like Mary Kay is one of the safest places to go through that. Because I don't know about you guys, but if I ever have a consultant or a director that reaches out to me and they're like, okay, I'm ready to come back. Like, I just am like a puppy dog, excited to see my consultant back. Like a dog does not judge you. They're excited to see you're back home, right? Like she came home again today, like I feel like that's how a consultant or a director or even a national looks at their people. It's like, we love you. If you had life occur, it's okay. We're just excited to see you back. And so just know that this is a judgment-free zone and it doesn't matter what happens. The emotional cycle is real. It doesn't have to be something you attach yourself to. You can choose to be in whatever place you want to be for your future of all of existence. But I think in order to get out of anger, settle, fear, you have to be positive. You have to have affirmations. You have to have vision board. You have to have those things to help pop you out, especially if you don't have a super supportive system, you guys. My mom was the last person I called if I had a cruddy party. She'd be like, so you were gone. You must have had a party. How'd it go? It could have been horrible. And I'm like, it was great. Thanks for asking. No one ever knew if I had a bad party, especially if they weren't supportive. I did not want to open myself up to, I told you. You know, and so if you have the mental ability, which everyone does, to know your boundaries and know how to set yourself up to get out of those negative places as quickly as possible. If your husband is on board with your Mary Kay, tell him your dreams. Tell him everything you want to accomplish so that when you do have a bad day, the logical man can tell you, well, when's your next party? Well, is that the attitude it's going to take to get what you want? Like, get the people that are in your core on board, have your goal posters, have your visualization. But you guys, that's what's going to take to get you out of those places quicker. If you don't have people in your arena, you're going to be there too long. And I think that's also when it's important to call your sales director. Don't call your recruiter because you don't know what stage she's in. Call your sales director. We're equipped for that. That's what our job is to do. Don't call your consultant because if she had a bad party, you had a bad party. Now misery loves company and you're out for margaritas. You know, and I don't mean the good kinds. Okay? I'm not saying margaritas are bad, but misery plus margaritas do not equal prosperity. Okay? Okay. So do not call your negative Nancy friends if you had a bad day. And don't call negative Nancy if you have a negative Nancy. Okay? We'll just eliminate that altogether. Okay. Any questions on that? You guys, I feel like new consultants, it's always kind of funny when you see that, but it is real. It does exist. And again, I've seen people go through it super fast, and I've seen people go through it for a long period of time. But you know what I love too about Mary Kay is people typically always come back. People, it's like a revolving door where people's like, oh, so good to see you again. You know, like they don't leave for long. So I love that, which speaks so much about our company. Okay, so did everybody do their DISC? This cracks me up every time. And it changes. It can change. Okay? No, not really. Not really. For some people, it changes. I know for mine, it changed tremendously. When I started as a new consultant, I was an ID. So I was like off the charts, sparkly pencils. And very dominant, which I still have a lot of D in me, but my S is a lot higher now. So I'm kind of more across the table, equal besides C. There's none of that. And so the longer you're in Mary Kay, I think you'll adapt. You'll start to fill those gaps. Yeah. Does that make sense? When you're like, dang, I really need to get my S together. You'll find yourself trying to force yourself to be a little bit more S. Okay? C, for some of us, it's hopeless. But you pay for your C, okay? Okay, so I'm going to go over some strengths of each one. And you guys, what I love too is that when you become a sales director in Mary Kay, you're going to notice there are high D directors, there are high I directors, there are high C, there are high S. So it's not like if I have no D, I can't be sick. No. We need everyone because the I's got to tone the D's down and the S's got to calm the C's down. So it's all kind of like we're kumbaya when we have each other. So don't feel like you have to have one over the other. Don't force yourself to have one over the other. I mean, if you are not a D, you're not a D, okay? So it's okay. Okay, so this is some of my favorite stuff. So a D, personality. So if you're a D, if you are number one was D, raise your hands. Okay. If your secondary was D, raise your hands. Okay, cool. Okay, so strengths of a D are achieving success by overcoming opposition and challenge. You are visionary and you see the big picture. Okay, those are your strengths of being a D. Your tendencies are getting immediate results. There's pros and cons to that. A D, if they don't get the results right away, they get frustrated. So you want immediate results. You take action. So that's a great quality is that you don't hem and haw about it. You just go to work. And you love to accept challenges. So D personalities are typically when you're on a group project in college or high school, like you call the shots. You know, like you made the decision, you were in charge, you call people out on their slacking, like you were it. So that is a D. You are motivated by a challenge, power and authority, which is why a lot of Ds want to be a sales director so they can call the shots and tell people how to do it better, right? That is pretty common for Ds. And very direct. So this is where my D, I've had to really be careful. And that's why I love Mary Kay, because she taught us to filter, you know, to compliment a sandwich, you know, with I don't even like criticism. I hate that word, but like feedback. I love that. In between positive affirmations. Where at D, you have to catch yourself because sometimes you just say it and call it out like it is, and then the no filter, and now you've hurt feelings, and now we're all over the emotional cycle, right? So you gotta be careful. Your fear, this is so a D, loss of control in your environment. So when you are a D, you're on top of it, you call the shots, and when you have no control, that is scary. That is scary for a D. to have absolutely no control. And then also being taken advantage of. And I will tell you guys, this is something I've really had to grow in, because as a D, my thought process was always like, what's in it for you? Like, that is me. And I always, not anymore, because I'm not even going to speak it, but I used to totally be like, well, really, what are you doing? Really, what's your intention? Really, where's that money going to? Like, that's just where my brain went. And so just totally being taken advantage of is the fear of a D. Okay, you'll notice self-confidence. Most Ds do have confidence. Sometimes they hide that under bossiness. You know, or your confidence isn't necessarily in you, it's being a D. So they might, there's a couple different things, like your confidence could be just, I'm the D, I'm the boss, or you carry self-confidence. So it is a little different. Directness, decisiveness, and risk-taking. So Ds are risk takers. Limitations are, to be careful of concern for others. So we can be bulldozers and not realize it, or just not care, because we're Ds, and sometimes we do. And impatient. Like, I definitely found myself, like, if I didn't get the results, it was like, what's wrong? It's like, no, hold the process out, Brittany. It's a journey. No, something's not working, you know, and it's like, just keep going. Like, the whole takes 30 days to create some movement, 90 days to create momentum. Like, Brittany didn't have 90 days. Okay. So that is something that you have to work for. And you just have to be careful, you guys. We just have to be careful of other people's emotions and feelings, because especially when a C or an S comes in and you bulldoze, they are like, oh my gosh, I can't even. Like, I can't do this. So you do have to be aware of who you are, and also working in Mary Kay with other people of different personality types, I think, is really important. Okay, so an I, this is what I was. Hi, I. So strengths, you're connecting with all types of people. And I have to say, you guys, that to me is like a chameleon. And I have to say, Morgan, is your I off the charts? What are you, number one I? Mm-hmm. Okay, so who else is number one I? Okay, who's second is I? Okay, so what I have an ability to do is literally be a chameleon. Like, it doesn't matter who walks in the room, you make everyone feel special, you make everyone feel important. Even if what you're thinking is not really what you're thinking, you have the ability to just make everything amazing, right? And Morgan, like, we will be out in public and the Chick-fil-A cashier is her new best friend. Like, everyone is attracted to that. And so an I personality can connect with every single personality type. Like, it could be the most off-the-wall person walk in, and I have no fear, because Morgan can rock it, because her face doesn't say anything. She is so good at just being a chameleon and making everyone feel important. So persuading and influencing others. I personalities are the life of the party. They want to take everyone with them. So you have a lot of friends. You have a lot of influence with other people. And you are always great at making time for those people. Tendencies are you make a favorable impression, long-lasting connections, which means for a lot of I's, like, you guys have relationships that you've had for a really long time. Like, I still have 6 of my very best friends since I was little, you know, and so I personalities connect, and you value relationships. And so people are drawn to you. You inspire and you entertain others. So I personalities are typically the life of the party, or choose to joke or entertain or whatever. So that's for I's. Motivated by social recognition, group activities, and relationships. So what's interesting about this is I personalities really like recognition, but they prefer recognition where it involves other people. So it's one thing for you to go on stage where you're like, you know, this is exciting, but, and Morgan and I have had conversations, and so I'm going to use her as an example, but Morgan would rather work for an event that other people are going to be there than just a prize for her. And it's because she loves connecting. She loves relationships. She loves building. Morgan gets FOMO from not being with other people. She could care less about a diamond ring, but if that diamond ring means that she gets to have dinner with 5 other people and connect and cultivate those relationships, she'll work for the diamond ring. The diamond ring has no value. It's the time and the people. So that's what I's are motivated by, relationships. And that's why a lot of I personalities too become sales directors, is because you want those relationships. You want that connection. Fear is social rejection, disapproval, or loss of influence. You will notice enthusiasm, charm, sociability, and optimism. So I personalities really do have an ability to see the best in everyone, being kind and compassionate. And you won't normally see an I personality start a gossipy conversation because they see the best in everyone, you know, and I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't notice, you know, that. And so that's one of my favorite things about I's, is they're just so loving. Limitations, impulsiveness. That is very true. Disorganization and a lack of follow through. And because we're so like, oh, that's shiny. You like forgot what you were doing 5 minutes ago, right? Yeah, that was a lot of agreeing there. And that happens to be part of your disorganization. Okay, so that's our I personalities. C personality. This is what I lack. Dedication to quality, accuracy when completing tasks. C personalities are very detail oriented. And a lot of times teachers, I don't want to say a lot of teachers are C's because that's not true, but you'll find when you are a teacher and they're super organized, a lot of times they are a C personality because their classroom is organized by color coding and this and that and that. And so dedication to just organization and completing tasks, doing them on time and being organized. Tendencies are attention to standards, details, and analytical thinking. There are rule followers. They're the ones that said this had to be turned in by noon. A C personality would have probably never messaged me and said, my voucher is 5 minutes late. Is that okay? A C personality had her alarm set. She like knew when it was due and she was 10 minutes before, like because it kills a C personality to even think about breaking the rule. Okay. Motivated by clearly defined performance expectations. So that's what I was just saying is like they love when rules are laid out. When someone bends the rules, it drives them nuts. Quality and accuracy being valued. So the time, attention to detail, the time and the energy that they put into that, they want that, appreciated and valued. Fear is criticism of their work and slipshod method. So just doing things not to the full capacity and or not giving 100%. You will notice precision, diplomacy, analysis, skepticism, introversion, and concern with risks. So C personalities are the new recruits that you're going to have to kind of lay it out for them. They're concerned about, well, what's the worst case scenario? Okay, well, if I do that, what is that going to look like? C personalities are the ones that you have to have patience with, and you may have to go over the success brochure with them. You may have to go over how you make money with them a couple different times, or at least give them the resources. But those are the ones that if you bulldoze over details, you're not going to sign them. If you bulldoze over how we make our money or different things like that, like those are the ones who you definitely want to be detailed. If they show up with a notebook and 5, 6, 7, 10 questions, they're your C's. Okay, and so be kind, be compassionate with their time. And I think C's are also very respectful of time and very cognizant if you're on time, if you're not on time. So those are important things to be aware of, because if you find yourself running late with a C, you've already lost her. Unless you tell her, like, I got a flat tire. I mean, there's situations, but if you find yourself not respecting a C's time, then that's going to be one of the first bad tastes in her mouth. Okay. Limitations, overly critical of self and others, indecision because of desire to collect and analyze data. So this is someone who might make the same goal poster 25 times because it wasn't perfect or they made a mistake, and God forbid you use whiteout. Right? So being overly critical, and or not making a decision because you want to weigh out the 5 different abilities that we could get there before you commit to which way you're going to get there. You need to know every little detail and every step it's going to take together. Don't overanalyze it, you guys. If you are cut out to be a sales director, don't worry about it. Just do the work. And I think that's also what can hold a lot of C's up, is they want to know everything before they jump in. A new consultant wants to memorize the skincare class, memorize her scripts, memorize everything before she actually holds the skincare class. That is going to serve no one. Just write it down on flashcards and practice and take it with you. Like, you cannot wait till you've memorized everything to actually start doing something. It's not gonna work. Okay, S, strengths, your team orientation, accomplishing tasks by cooperating with others. Tendencies are your calm, patient, loyal, good listeners. You guys, S's are the ones that will stay with you forever if you value them, because they really are all about the relationship. Motivated by infrequent change, stability, sincere appreciation, and cooperation. So these are your people. Like, they want to know that you will never leave them. They want to know that, you appreciate them. They want to know, like, these are the people who you have to go the extra mile and say, I appreciate you. It's so good to see you. Like, make sure they feel affirmed in that way. Those S's, I believe, are the ones who need to be affirmed the most. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you came. Like, Like, always just appreciating your S personalities, because you guys, I can't tell you how many consultants I still have from the very beginning because of that cultivating of that relationship, and they are still with me. I just had a coaching call with one of them a couple weeks ago, and she's literally was from right when I became a sales director, and she will never leave me because she's loyal and she's a high S personality. So S's are amazing, but you do have to value them. Okay, so fear is loss of stability, the unknown change, and unpredictability. I think they want stableness. S personalities will oftentimes keep the same job for a really long time. They go to the same church, even if they don't love it. Like they take the same route to work every day, like very stable. They want stable. And so S's, when it comes to the business opportunity, you need to be able to show them how this income can be stable. You need to show them this is how many faces you see. This is maybe your average or our average or whatever. And this is how, if you give an S how we make money and the way that that can be consistent, then you can win her over. But you have to be attention to detail on that kind of stuff. You will notice with an S, a systemic approach, calmness, and caring for others. So an S personality will typically be at every event if she can. An S personality also will push hard to achieve a goal if it means spending time with others too. And they also don't want to let you down. And so I will be there because I said I was going to. I don't want to let you down. So those are also the people that will push for a goal because they want to be a part of the team. They want to be a part of the win. They want to be a part of victory. They may not do it for themselves, but they'll do it for the team win. So it's good to have a balance of all of that, you guys. It really is. And it's also good to have a balance in yourself where you can pull a little bit out of each as well. Okay? And limitations will be overly willing to give, putting their needs last, and uncomfortable with conflict. So that's S for you guys. Does that make sense to everyone? Are you like, oh my gosh, aha moment? Most of you probably already knew this about yourself. And there's some other tendencies on the back that you guys can study a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to just go over this last sheet with you guys, and then we're going to go over our winners. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I think it's really, really important, and you guys may have noticed too with this PACESETTERS that it is a lot about personal growth. It is a lot about personal development. It's a lot about your thoughts, your actions, where you dedicate your time to. The business is not going to change. And that's why some of PACESETTERS will never change because we're always going to book, coach, sell, recruit. But there's always things to help better ourselves, educate ourselves, and be best with ourselves. And so this next page is embracing who I be and what qualities make me great. I think in this business, sometimes it can be difficult because you're comparing your apples to her oranges. You're comparing her strengths to your weaknesses. You're comparing so many different things that guess what? She's comparing her weaknesses to your strengths. And so it's not, it's not fair at all. And so I think what's important is that we start to change and transform your thoughts to what is great about me? What do I bring to the table? What can I offer? And there's so many different tests I wanted to have you guys take, but they cost money, and so I wasn't going to go that route. But there are some amazing, amazing tests that you can take to show what your strengths and what your qualities are so that you can really start to step into your strengths and your qualities and embrace that opposed to looking at that as a negative thing. I think so many people are like, oh my gosh, beat themselves up with their strengths when they could really use their strengths to progress and move move mountains and make people feel good about themselves. And so you guys will notice at the top, it says the top 3 qualities that I love about me. And you guys can totally write those down if you can come to mind right away. And I did examples for myself. And one of the things that I love about me is that I am compassionate, I'm hardworking, and I know that I have grit. And so those are things that if I ever get to a point where I might be comparing myself or beating myself up, like I have to remind myself, this is what makes Brittany great. This is what makes Brittany different from whoever I might be comparing myself to. And, and so I think that that's really important, especially as you move up the career path. I think we definitely go into these moments where we compare, or maybe directors are comparing themselves to a different top director, or maybe they're comparing themselves to a different Cadillac sales director, and you're comparing your strengths to their weaknesses. And it really can cause you to stop in your tracks and not progress forward. And so I think it's really important. So next is my people strengths. And so writing down like what makes you great, what makes you a great consultant, what are your strengths with people? I am a chameleon as well. Like I feel like as my I personality, I can kind of mesh with anybody. So what are your strengths? Are you great at loving people? Can you talk to anybody? Do you make everyone feel super special or important when they walk in? Are you good at remembering names? Are you good at remembering details? People love that kind of stuff. And so what are your people strengths? And then what are areas for growth that you could work on? Maybe you're not great at names. And so then you have to like do a little game with yourself where you ask her name and then you in your head think of someone you know so that you can correlate, or maybe a famous person so you can correlate. Like what are some areas of growth that you can work on? For me, it's customer follow-up and organization, you know, and so those are areas of growth. But because I've also claimed what those areas are, I don't have to hold guilt to not being great at that. I don't have to beat myself up for not being great at that. I'm aware of it and it's a work in progress. Move on. And I think so many people attach, well, I'm not where I want to be because I'm not good at that. I promise you guys, of all the nationals in the company, none of us are the same. None of us have the same strengths. None of us have the same weaknesses. We just did the work to get there. And so not comparing what that looks like. My business strengths. And so what are your business strengths? Maybe cultivating relationships. Maybe you're loving others. Maybe checking in with your customers. Maybe amazing product delivery. You know, this is an opportunity for you to say what you're great at so that when you are negating what your strengths are, you can say, whoa, 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 whoa. It doesn't matter that I'm not good at that. I'm great at this. And you're not going to compare because you're aware of the things that you're great at. Okay? Areas for growth. And that's where I love, like, I hate weaknesses and strengths because I feel like it really has a negative connotation where you could say, this is an area I need to grow. This is where I'm great. You know, and so you get to toot your horn and get to say, this is where I should put some attention to. But again, you're putting it out there. This is what I'm not great at. And so you're subconsciously going to make efforts to get better at that. And you do need to, some of us need to take better, you know, time and carve out that time, which is why at the bottom it says the things I choose to make a priority for growth. That's where you can say, like, okay, how am I going to be better at this? I can't just think about it and expect it to happen. So where can I get better about implementing this? How can I, you know, maybe after every single appointment, since I'm not the best at follow-up, I will put all these customers into InTouch and set them in my program, 222. Check, done. Right? Like those are things that you can say that you're better, and then you can systemize them so that you do get better. You obviously do want to put some attention to it, but don't try to be the best at it, because I promise you, if you're not super organized, there's nothing you can do that's going to all of a sudden make you super organized. You can try and put some systems into place, but it doesn't mean that all of a sudden overnight you're going to become a C personality. It's not going to happen. And so put the systems in place to help you fill that void, but run in your own lane, run in your own strengths. Does that make sense? Like embrace that you're an I, embrace that you're a D, embrace that you're an S or a C. Don't beat yourself up and try to fill that void elsewhere. Fill in the systems to help you fill that if you feel like that's a need or an area of growth, but move on. Embrace who you are, embrace what areas and what strengths you are. I know it was so crazy. A lot of people, I never had a full-time assistant when I was becoming a national, and everybody thought that was the craziest thing, that you don't have a full-time assistant. You guys, it's okay. It got done. Like I had a virtual assistant. I had someone who's cooking for me. I had someone who was doing my laundry. I did the stuff that mattered. And if I didn't, I paid someone else to do it. But I never had a full-time assistant. And for the longest time, I carried, like, how are you going to become a national if you don't have a full-time live-in assistant? I carried that with me for a little while. Who cares? Somehow I still made it happen, right? So like I had to release that, like, I need to find this amazing assistant who can do everything for me before I can get there. No, it's irrelevant. If you can figure it out, fill the needs, fill the gaps, and run in your own lane and do the things that are great for you. Does that make sense? Because I think so many people are caught up on perfecting everything before they can move on. No, find what works for you. Pick some stuff to get it going so you can expand and have growth, but run in the strengths are what's going to take you to your next destination, not dwelling on the things that you lack. Okay? Okay, perfect. Okay, you guys, and I have this dump list on the very back because I think sometimes it's really great for either at the end of PACESETTERS or at the end of your week or even at the end of your month, just dumping stuff, like just dumping stuff, eliminating it, releasing it. There's a lot of power in the subconscious mind of just releasing that. So that's just a fun page that you can do that. And then this new Faces Take You Places, this is the monthly tracking sheet that I give my people. And so I encourage you guys to go make copies and do this every single week and send it to your sales director. Accountability is key, you guys. If you're not doing anything, it's because you're not holding yourself accountable to anything. And so if you had one of these to turn in every week, I bet you would probably be a little bit more accountable. So, okay, you guys, are you excited to see who's our winners? Okay, so I feel like a lot of this stuff is probably common knowledge with PACESETTERS and different stuff like that. But what I love most about PACESETTERS is recognizing the people who really ran, recognizing the people who did the vouchers, did the activity. But I also want you guys to remember that if you did not get all the points or all the prizes, it's okay. Because at the end of the day, your business is in a different place if you chose to play full out, okay? So I love that. Okay, so first we're gonna, okay, you guys, so I am not shipping anything. So when your package doesn't show up on Monday, don't cry and don't message me because I leave for Alabama tomorrow and we're not even going to mess with all of this. So you will just know that it is coming, okay? And I will also be making a video for all of our travel roll-up bag winners next week, and I'll send that in our Voxer group, and I'll post it on our Facebook. And then if one of your customers won, you can send it to her, or you can put it on her Facebook or whatever. So that will be coming next week, and they already gave me all their initials, and I think I even got their addresses. So we should be good to go. But if your customers have asked, that will be released next week. Okay. Okay. So first week we did the cute little jewelry bag. The second week was the keychain. And then this week, I love this. It's a bag that says keep going. And this is like such a great money bag size for the new profile cards. And then some cute little stickies. I'm always needing stickies, and ooh la la cards with lips. So this is for, it's going to be our top 3 consultants and our top 2 directors with the unit categories of over 50 and under 50. So our under 50 winner happens to be in the house, and that is Miss Nicole Jones. Yay for one less thing to ship. All right. Okay, perfect. Our over 50 winner is the fabulous Lori Plyler. Congratulations, Lori. Okay, and our top 3 consultants for the week, and this is just week 3, you guys. Amanda Kaufman from the Lacey Bradford unit, Mara Thompson from the Lacey Bradford unit, and Lakita Wallace from Regina's, I don't have Regina's last name, but Regina, you know who you are. Regina's unit. So congratulations, ladies. Your prizes will be coming. Okay, you guys. So I think I'm going to do the consultants first. And I have to say, I'm kind of sad. The prizes, one of the prizes didn't show up, but it should be here any day, which is okay because I'm not going to the post office this weekend. So it's totally okay. But it is, let me see, I took a picture of it. These adorable earrings for their red jackets. Let me see if I can. So it's like a little ball and then fringe. So cute. For our consultants for the top 10. Okay, so the top 10 are all getting the earrings, and then the top 3 are getting, number 3 is getting this Kate Spade bag and then a notebook, and then the earrings when they show up. Okay, and then number 2 is getting this bag, a notebook, and the earrings when they show up, and number 1 is getting that bag, the small Kate Spade, and the book and the earrings when they show up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, you guys, so we're gonna go through our top 10 consultants, and oh my gosh, you guys, this was so close. Like, if you only knew, some of you were 100 points away from each other. Like,
Wow.
yeah. Talk about frustrating. Okay, so, yeah, I'm not gonna tell you. Okay, so our number 10 consultant, and I apologize if I say names incorrectly, you guys, but let's cheer for our top 10, you guys, and be excited for them because we are spread across the country. And I am just so proud of you guys. I am so proud of those of you who pushed, and I had so many people who were just like aha moments, and so exciting to see where our consultants landed. So from the Shonda Sellers unit, number 10, Callie Onko. So congratulations, Kelly. Let's see. Oh my goodness gracious. From the Lacey Bradford unit, we have Chris Puha. Sorry, I'm totally slaughtering that, but it's P-U-G-H. So congratulations, Chris. Okay, what number is this? 8. Number 8. From the Regina King unit, Miss Victoria Pierce. Congratulations. Okay, number 7. Right? Yeah. Okay. From the Nicole Jones unit, Miss Rebecca Pitts. You guys, my numbers are off. What number was that? 7. Okay, number 6 is, hold on. I had to make a last minute change. That's why I know. From the well, we'll just call her from the Nicole Jones unit, Miss Melissa Dicht. And she is here, so congratulations, Melissa. Okay, so we're on to number 5. Thank you. Okay, number 5 from the Lori Plyler unit, Terry Jankowski. Congratulations, Terry. Okay, let me make sure I don't want to mess this up. We're getting real critical here. Okay. Hold on, guys. I need a pen. Do we have a pen? Oh, we do. Perfect. And you shall receive. Okay. So that was number 5.
Yes, you're on 4 now.
Thank you. Okay, perfect. Okay, just don't want to mess this up. This is where it could get real intense here. Okay, so number 4 from the Lacey Bradford unit, Mara Thompson. Congratulations. Okay, from the Lacey Bradford unit, you guys killed it. Top three, right? Okay, don't mess me up, y'all. Having hot flashes over here. Okay, number 3 from the Lacey Bradford unit. Suspense is killing everyone. Katie Duncan. Congratulations, Katie. Okay. Next, we have number 2. So, Katie, you are getting this bag. This Kate Spade bag, a notebook, and the earrings. Okay, so number 2 from the Sarah Stone King unit, Miss Stephanie Duarte. Congratulations, Stephanie. You guys, Stephanie got over 53 facial bags. Wow. 53 facial bags. She just relocated. That girl is committed to getting leads. I thought that was amazing when Sarah told me that. Okay, are we ready for number 1? Number 1, who's getting the big Kate Spade, the little Kate Spade, a notebook, and earrings when they come in. From the Lacey Bradford unit, Amanda Kaufman. Congratulations. Okay, you guys, all of these women had over 1 million points. Wow. 1 million points. So if you're wondering, they all had 1 million points. These women are not messing around. So congratulations to all of you. I will be mailing all your prizes. So excited. Okay, so the directors, we're excited to recognize. We're doing under 50 and over 50. So under 50, we're going to start out with number 5. And your earrings did come in, guys. Let me show you. So cute. I literally messaged the directors and was like, oh my gosh, you guys, I wish I would have gotten myself a pair. Look at how cute and pretty these are.
Beautiful.
So pretty. Can you tell I love fringe and tassels? Okay. So our number 5 director under unit size of 50 is Miss Angela Concannon. Congratulations, Angela. Number 4 is Melissa Nelson. Congratulations. And you guys, these women all had 2 million or higher. Wow. Yeah. I don't want to mess this up. Okay. Number 3, and she is in the building, Miss Nicole Jones. Okay, so Nicole, let me make sure this is the right one. Yeah, everyone wants to see what's in these bags. So you get to be the first to show us what it is.
I was just gonna say, yeah, really.
There's the book. Oh, earrings. I owe you
them too. Earrings, you showed those.
Yep.
Oh, so sparkly, I get that.
It's a crossbody.
Oh, it's a crossbody.
So when you go to Argentina, you have all your goodies in one bag. Congratulations.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, number 2. And I'm not going to show number 2's winner because I'm going to show number 1. And you're getting both. So number 2 with the under 50 is Wendy Lemak. Congratulations, Wendy. And number 1 with almost 3 million points. Wow. You guys, this girl killed it. Miss Regina King. So congratulations, Regina. Okay, so I'm going to show, this is what number 2 is getting. Oh, wow. Super cute. You guys, I was like, is this too young? Like, is this too, would you get excited about this? Yes. And it's like, it sparkles and it's pink. So that's for number 2. And you're getting the earrings and the notebook. And then number 1, you are getting a matching wallet. So wallet and the purse for number 1. Okay? Some of us are probably wishing we would have probably gotten a little more points. Right? Okay. So over 50. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm seriously so proud of you. And I'm so proud of everyone. Like, seriously, everybody had an amazing, our numbers were huge. Okay, number 5, Miss Lacey Bradford. Congratulations, Lacey. So you are getting the earrings. Number 4, Miss Angela Brannon. So congratulations, Angela. Number 3 is in the house. So I'm excited about that. Miss Laurie Cole.
My 3rd recruit in 24 hours.
Congratulations. Pick your book.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Pick your book.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Perks to being here.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you. Congratulations. Okay. Number 2, this girl is she is, I don't know what I'm trying to say. She always wins because her activity is amazing. Number 2, Miss Brittany Stanley. Congratulations. And this next person, you guys, this girl kills it. She is going to be a national sales director this year. She has a lot of her directors are some of the winners. They participated. And I am just blown away. This girl had over 3 million points, like blew it out of the park. Miss Lori Plyler, you are number 1. So congratulations. So proud of you guys. And so now we need to recognize those who recruited the most people, because remember, you guys, Kendra Scott, for the people who added the most team members during PACESETTERS. So I'm excited. I need to go. There we go. Okay, the number 1 consultant from the Lori Plyler unit with 6 total new team members during PACESETTERS. So in 3 weeks, you guys, 6 new team members, Terry Jankowski from Lori Plyler unit. Congratulations, Terry. And the sales director with 6 personal team members as well, you guys, Miss Angela Concannon. So congratulations, Angela. You guys had amazing, amazing results. And that's what I love is that you guys, like, you're on fire. Like, Lori, what did you say, your 2nd team member today? 3rd team member today. Like that, you guys, that's huge. Like just the momentum of what this is creating. And like you said, Victoria, this is your new normal, you guys. Like the worst thing you could do and the biggest way to like just wash everything we just did down the drain is to not continue. Like keep going, keep pushing, keep doing the activity. Even if you did not win a prize, who cares? Earn some money and go buy yourself the prize. Like it really doesn't matter. That's not the point of this. The point is to see where your thoughts are different, what you know you need to focus on. That's your savers, your affirmations, like being mentally healthy, emotionally, and then do the work and back it up with activity. And you guys, you're unstoppable. Anything can happen if you choose to make a decision. And this is the last time I'm going to say this, but the company is playing full out. They're giving you all in with 8. They're giving you all these amazing prizes, everything you could possibly imagine, and they need you to meet them so you can make this happen, you guys. They can't do this without you. They can't make you a director. They can offer it to you, but it's up to you to take it and to embrace it. So love you guys tons. Thanks for participating. We do this twice a year, every February and every September. So we'll see you next time. Love you guys. Bye.